So if you're considering buying a $50 smartphone from Amazon, potentially it could be this. This is the DOOGEE X5. It's got a 5-inch display, front and rear facing cameras, support for 2 SIM cards, SD card and a decent battery. So how good can this thing be? Or how bad can it be, shall I say? Let's find out. So briefly touching on the unboxing experience, arrives in a plastic bag with 2 separate boxes. One box contains a smartphone, instruction manual and a charging cable. The white box contains the plug to go with the charging cable. That's it, not much more to say about that. Very budget orientated, what you would expect. Now I must admit, at first glance the phone actually looks pretty damn good. Located on the top of the phone you'll find the front facing camera, the speaker and what they call the optical range sensor. And on the base of the device is quite a simple affair. On the far left hand side you've got the microphone, and then slightly to the right you've got your speaker. So plenty of people on Amazon have stated that the speaker on this thing is pretty damn good. So the X5 has an independent sound cavity that's more enclosed in the structure, so basically meaning it's airtight. Produces a louder, more comparatively concentrated sound. So here's a sound test. Well, that was a little bit of a surprise. Now, firstly, it actually works and there was no crackling. Secondly, it actually sounded pretty damn good. Was not expecting that at a £50 price point. Now, along the top of the device is where you're going to find the micro USB port, along with a 3.5mm headphone jack. So yes, it does have a headphone jack. Now, one thing I will say is if you look at the phone now, you can see how the back is clipped on. Let's take a look at that. Now, I'm not a big fan of the design of the back cover. It adds a bit of outer edge bulk. Now, the retention clips on the plastic, they look alright, and you know what, the notches on the phone, it all lines up perfectly and it does work. It doesn't feel flimsy and it's got a nice matte white finish to the rear. Now, the quad-core CPU used in this smartphone is an MT6580. Its around, I think, is clocked at 1.8. I might be wrong, but it seems pretty damn snappy. I can open multiple apps and it doesn't seem to slow the device down, or when you're scrolling up and down. Pretty good. The phone also delivers a respectable 680 minutes of talk time and 72 hours of standby, all from its 2400 mAh battery. Only physical buttons located on this smartphone can be found on the right. You've got your volume rocker and your power on and off. Now, the buttons are plasticky and they can feel a little bit flimsy when you rapid press it, but you know what, they work. And as you would expect in a touch test, it could only ever detect 2 points simultaneously. That's what I expected, that's what it delivered, and that's what you should get for about £50. Another thing I've got to say is I was pleasantly surprised by its gaming performance. Yes, this video has been sped up a little bit, but watch the last reactions. The reactions are really good. So the responsiveness on the screen was perfect. And you know what? The colours look really good as well. Yeah, I'm not saying this thing can probably play all the latest games, like your high-end graphical games, with its 1GB of RAM and its quad-core CPU, but for most games, not a problem. It chewed through them perfectly. Now, as for the camera, the front-facing camera is a native 2-megapixel camera. It can upscale itself using software to 5-megapixel. The rear-facing camera, again, that one is a 5-megapixel camera, upscaling itself to an 8-megapixel using, again, software. Now, here are some sample images for you to look at. It's nothing special. If I'm honest, it's probably the weakest camera I've seen in a long time. Please do not buy this smartphone for the camera. Here are some sample images to show you exactly what you're going to get. Now, as you can see from the image, there's nothing to write home about. The colours are bland, there's no sharpness to them at all. The video, no contrast, no vibrancy at all. And it records in 3GP, is that right? I can't actually remember, it's been such a long time. It's appalling. Don't buy it for the camera. It fails on one thing, delivers on the other. The viewing angles are actually quite acceptable, not bad at all. So guys, my overall impressions on the DOOGEE X5. General build quality, considering the $50 price tag, it's actually very impressive. It has a good screen on it, very clear, very vibrant, and you know what, 720p, the colours look really sharp. The 2400 mAh battery will give you at least 2 days of use, 2 SIM cards and support for a 64GB micro SD card. Great for the kids, great for back to school if you want. Give it to your parents or just have it as a backup device. Now, if you feel like being awesome, please leave me a like. And my name is Mike and this is Tech404. I'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Links will be in the video description as always.